Hey everyone, welcome back to Charlie Tech. Today we are going to talk about two very important concepts in PHP. That's the get and post. Get and post are super global variables in PHP. When a user fills a form with a name, email, password, or anything, PHP stores those values inside either the get or the post, depending on which method the form uses. In simple terms, they are special PHP tools used to collect data from an HTML form. So we set it like this. When you create a form in HTML, you get two things. You get an action and then a method. So the action allows you to store the file in which you want the data to be sent to. And then the method will decide whether the data sent should be sent using the get or the post. Now the get and post have their own advantages and disadvantages. With the get, data is appended to the URL and then it is not secure. It has a character limit. You can bookmark the URL together with the values. You can get requests can be cached. Best, and it is best for search page or anything non-sensitive. With the post, data is packaged inside the body of the HTTP request. It is more secure. The data has a size limit. It cannot be bookmarked. Post requests are not cached. And it is best for submitting credentials such as login forms, passwords, or anything that has to do with credentials. So now we would begin by creating a form. The form would allow us to enter username and a password, and then we would use the get and the post method so that we get a deeper understanding of what we are doing. So let me clear this thing. And then inside our HTML, we would create an input. So we first start with a label. Let me clear this for, and then we will name it username. Let me break it. And then an input, text, and then a name of, let's say, username. Now let's copy, and then let's change this to password. And then change this text to password. And change this to password. Now let us add a button. We would use the input method. And then let me name it submit. And then let me give it a value of, let's say, login. All right. So this is our form. Now let us use the get and then the post method. So we'll go below the HTML structure and then we would create our PHP tag. Let's close it. And then within it, we would have to echo out and then an underscore. All right. So before that, I think we have to create them and then put them inside a form. So let me create a form tag and then an action. Let me remove this and then end it here. So the action will be, I want to store it within the same file. So index.php. and then we'll give it a method of, let's start with get. All right. So to echo it out, um, and then you would open a square braces and then type the username over here. This username, type it over here. And then let us add a string concatenation. I think this should work. And then let us do the same thing for the password. So we change it to password. All right. So let's try it and see. So let's give it a username of Kofi and then a password of, let's say, and then let's log in. All right. So you can see that because I set the action to store the file inside the um, index of index.html file, it is appearing over here. And you can see that the credential is appended to this URL. You can see that the username is Kofi and then the password is the Paddy F55. You understand? So with the get method, with the get method, it's the password and the credentials is being stored on the URL. So let us change this to post. Let me change this to post. This one too should work. I don't know why it's showing an error, but I think it still works. So let me give it a username of maybe Charlie Cake, and then let me refresh this. And then a password of password. When I log in, it shouldn't come. As you can see, it is not stored in the URL. So these are the differences between the get and the post. With the get, the data is stored on the URL, but with the post, it is stored within the file and it is not stored on the URL. So when you want to deal with forms and then credentials and with sensitive information, you have to use the post. You have to use the post. And that's it for today's lesson. Now you know the difference between get and post and when to use each one. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and drop your questions below if you need help. See you in the next video.